Tzvi Lebetkin, the rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. This is a review of Doctor Who. Well, it's not really called Doctor Who because they can't call it that because he doesn't own Doctor Who. He'll get in quite a lot of trouble. Doctor Who Season 13. So what is Season 13? I got it right here. Season 13 is this book. It is also a book on tape, free on YouTube. Look, listen, this may be my Jewish heritage speaking, but you had me at free. Okay? What do you want me to tell you? But it's also good as well. So, there is that. So what is Doctor Who Season 13? Doctor Who Season 13 is a sequel to Doctor Who Season 12. Doctor Who Season 12 is the author Alex Leeds. Am I pronouncing his name right? Probably. Alex Leeds, Alexander Leeds says it on the book, was like me, very incensed at how incredibly bad the Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who was. I don't know if he thought it would be good or he was excited for it before it started like I was. Like, I was in the bag! I was like, I think this is going to be good! Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong! Well, he was very incensed with it, and also he has to be quite a good writer, so he went ahead and wrote a whole season, Season 12, that's why he called it Season 12, because it was like the 12th Doctor, sort of, and it acknowledged Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, but sidelined it in, I think, a very, very brilliant way. Something else that was very brilliant about it is he really is able to narrow the characterization down of the 12th Doctor, and there's a lot more people you recognize in these books. There's Romana, there's K9. It sounds a bit fan-wankish, and that was my opinion at first. Less so now. So anyway, we're in Season 13. He's releasing an episode a week while Doctor Who Flux is fluxing around. And similar to Doctor Who Flux, this seems to be one single narrative. Season 12 was, a couple of two-parters, but it was essentially a modern season. But this seems to be one single narrative. That is the only, that's the only similarity. And this is really quite clever. It's very, I find Doctor Who Flux is using a lot of pomp and explosion and stuff like, which I like, stuff I like, to detract from the poor quality of the scripting, which is really quite bad. But no such things being done here. So as I said, Doctor Who Season 13 is a very different beast from Season 12, from what I can see so far. Fine, but I'm going to get into that in the review. Before we do get into it, can you hit the like button? That would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Can you hit the share button? Also fantastic. Also, thank you very much. It's the same message going around. But the most fantastic thing you could possibly do, you might think, giving a kidney to somebody who needs it will be important, like donating your time or your money to the poor, right? Taking on some important cause. You might think all this is what you need to do to be a good person in the world. No, I got it covered. Just hit the subscribe button. That's it. That's all you need to do. Hit that subscribe button today, and that will make me very happy. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to say one more thing. Go and check out this freaking awesome book. I genuinely am loving it. The links are down there in the video description. It really is 100% worth checking out. I like books on tape, but if you prefer a book, go buy the book. It's totally worth it. So anyway, and then comment. Let me know what you think. Fine. So this Season 13 is different from Season 12. Essentially, it's the 12th Doctor and a regenerated Romana and K9 a bit. So they had a whole bunch of universe destroying, falling apart, daring do that happened last season. So they start off with that, basically clearing up after that, and they found themselves getting trapped in a little section of space, right? Which is where this, I am assuming the whole season takes part. But the interesting thing about this is it's not just really good Doctor Who. It's really well done. It's something very Doctor Who in that it has a lot of influences which it wears very openly on its sleeve. So this is it's a really great mishmash of like Agatha Christie. I'll say I get the vibe of the Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes. You get a lot of that. What's it? Britannia, is that the word? You get all of that that kind of feel. Steampunk, 2000 AD, all kind of mishmashed together with Peter Capaldi's Doctor front and center throughout. So we got one single narrative. They're on Well, okay. The ongoing thread of the story thus far is that Romana was sick of going to Earth all the time. So can we go somewhere different? And something they really lean into with it. Alex really leans into this. Is the naughtiness and the playfulness of the Capaldi Doctor. The Capaldi Doctor, I think more than anything else, love being the Doctor, right? Absolutely love being, because I think that's what Capaldi loved. Yeah, I'm getting a bit depressed and sad when I see how much he doesn't want to associate with Doctor Who anymore. Had a interview. I think he must have been really burnt, which is absolutely tragic, because it was, I think, one of the greatest performances we've ever seen. So yeah, so this we have this 12th Doctor, and Romana wants to go somewhere. He says, "Fine, I'll take you to something totally different at the other ends of the universe," and it's very obviously a pastiche on a steampunk world, like a 1930s. Was that steampunk? Is that diesel punk? I don't know. That kind of like post War of the Worlds kind of world where the aliens looking human, but they're not. Basically there's this whole large section of space that got contaminated with Victorian era. That's the one. They got contaminated with it, and they've taken on that entire society. If you ever read, what was it, Brian Talbot's first book on Nemesis, the Warlock? It's very much like that, or his own The Adventures of Luther Arkwright. More like the Nemesis of Warlock than Luther Arkwright, but it's very similar to that. So you get a lot of really good, interesting world building. There's also like a very Robert Holmesian Hammer horror in this. That's somebody who would love this. Robert Holmes would absolutely adore this. At the same time, I don't feel it's being a pastiche on Holmes at all. It's more going back to doing what Holmes would have done. He takes all the things, all the dark stuff he loves, and puts them together in again like a sci-fi, steampunky way with an incredible charismatic leading it, and this is essentially what you got. So. It's it was episode 2. They spent most of the time in it was called A Night at the Museum. They spent most of the time crashing a dinner, like a Victorian dinner party of eccentric people who are just about to go on an expedition to Cairo. Everything in this world has like very English and human sounding names, which is making me think more and more this is not a naturally occurring phenomena. And you do get a feeling this is a lot of the Capaldi Doctor taking the piss out of Romana, and quite wonderfully so. I do enjoy that. So the city they're in is called Landaria, which is part of Grand Britain. They mention Hungary at one point. So like there's a lot of things. And one of my favorite bits is at the beginning of this chapter. So I was going to say they have this dinner party that they go. So it's very Agatha Christie-ish with steampunky-ish in episode 2. Which ends up with a MacGuffin being stolen and whisked away by what appears to be a mummy, and a very like ghoulish spectral mummy at that. What was it Capaldi's first season, Mummy on the Orient Express? That first season, I think, only had like 2 or 3 really good episodes, and that was one of them. But I really but it had that kind of look to it. So you got this very classic mummy. And one of the characters at the party, Lou, who was a professor of something or other, I can't remember. Before the episode 4 comes out, I'm actually gonna read it because I'm really enjoying it that much. Maybe over Sabbath, I'm just gonna sit down and read the first three chapters again, and see what I missed. So she runs after the thing that was stolen by a mummy through this portal. And she just puts her arm in, and her arm becomes very aged and withered. Right, so there's some weird temporal thing going on. Also, one of the characters in this is Nathan, who's an American reporter. So it also has a feeling of Bram Stoker's Dracula as their little group. Van Helsing has a group of people who loved what was it, Lucy Miller, and well isn't that Lucy, whatever the character's name, Lucy, was it the one of them being American? So it does have that like Dracula vibe as well. So you got all the best of Britishness just flooding through all of this. And so in this episode, they connect. The mystery continues. But before it continues, they notice an old spaceship made out of wood, which takes them on a little tangent. And Romana's like, "Well, how could this thing take off?" He says, "Oh, well, they found this thing called cavorite, which is the same element they use from First Men in the Moon." So this does feel like Capaldi's Doctor is just taking the piss out of Romana, and this is not a naturally occurring world. Which is kind of, again, I'm enjoying this not naturally occurring world. So they got their whole little side bit there. They Cavorite and Plummet is the other thing that counteracts Cavorite, which I thought was fun. They have to travel to another part of the planet, I believe, Dulwych, and they go via steam trains. And the Capaldi's Doctors just glee, the childhood glee at being on a steam train, a steampunk steam train in a steampunk world where everything's kind of Edwardian, Victoriana, that kind of feel to it. You just feel him enjoying it as much as you would enjoy it. And also, I think that it's not just the dialogue he nails at Capaldi, but like his mannerisms. Like at one point he says he waggles his head in a sort of non-committal manner, which I just see Capaldi doing so completely, right? So completely. I don't know if they go from Gloriana Station, so they have to go to Dulwych, and so half the episode is in Dulwych. The Dulwych Horror is the name of the episode, and they break into two, and nobody likes the person that they're going to. So it gets to be a bit American Werewolf-y in what's it American Werewolf in London, when they half the group walks into a bar and tries to ingratiate themselves, and they get thrown out on their ear. Meanwhile, the Doctor, Romana, and Nathan, the American, they go on the main part of the story. More horrific things. I think, by the way, the horror towards the end of this actually gets very genuinely horrific. I found it a little bit too disturbing, quite frankly, but it gets genuinely quite scary, as I think we're meeting at least the if not the big bad, the level boss, right? That's where it ends up. Again, this is just a very, very strong recommend. It really is. I really one of my few criticisms of it is because it's called Season 13, and I think that's it doesn't convey what it is as clear as well, which I think makes a barrier to entry. And I don't want anybody to have a barrier to entry to this, because it's really, listen, do you like Doctor Who? Do you like Capaldi Doctor Who? This is Capaldi Doctor Who, and this is like an original take on it, which I just wish we had more of. Really, bottom line, I just wish we had more of. It's funny, it came out the same. It's coming out the same time as Big Finish to put out a 12th Doctor thing called Time Jacked, which nobody's talking about. I think it died at because Big Finish have been quite ropey of late. Something I do now occasionally, I did with the the River Songbox set, was I illegally downloaded it, and I wanted to see, do I like it before I give you my $20, or are you just going to lecture to me again, or put in some quality scripts? Like, is this worth the extra money? And actually was. So I thought of trying to do that with that Time Jack thing. It's so unpopular. No, you can't even find it on BitTorrent or Usenet sites. It's like no one's even bothered pirating it. All I would say, I haven't listened to it, but all I can say is this has got to be so much better, right? This has got to be so much better. If I can reiterate again, it's free. If you want the book on tape, it's free. Just one more thing before I wrap up there. Alex uses different voices. He has Doomcock in it, playing one of the characters last week and this week. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really works. He has, he keeps telling me her nationality, and I keep forgetting. European. That's the close I can get. European. He has a European lady, a very, very pretty European lady. And I do say that every time I talk about it, because that's the first thing that comes into my head. A very, very pretty European lady does the voice of Romana. So it's very, very not like Romana to my ears, but maybe this regeneration's taking the piss a bit, because, last time I was in London, I
couldn't actually find anybody working there who had an English accent. So of any description, let alone this European accent was much more English than anything else. So but frankly, I've got used to it by now, and it's a low bar, right? It's a low bar to stop you enjoying it. It's great, really. It's absolutely great. Go check it out.